everybody, it's Tina Peterson with Remax One, and I have Leah Taggart with Texas National Title again. Today we're going to talk about, it's called Affidavit of Heirships. So I actually learned something new sitting here talking to her for the past 10 minutes about this. So what it is when someone passes away without a will, but you have property to sell, there's steps that have to be taken in order to sell that property. So what is the first step that you have to take?
Well, if someone passes without the will, or if they had a will and it wasn't probated, we're going to have to go through a step called Affidavits of Heirship. Affidavit of Heirship, it's going to be a two-step process to establish heirship.
Okay. So what is an affidavit of heirship?
So the affidavit of heirship is going to be a statement, basically that we're going to collect from two non-committal parties of the transaction and then one interested party of the transaction. And what we do is we gather personal information about marriages, children, and anything from the past of the person, of the decedent. We have to do this because if they did have any prior marriages, any children from prior marriages, or any current children from their marriage now, we need to know that because they're all part of that heirship in Texas.
Who would be considered a non-interested party?
Non-interested party could be very, very close friend who maybe you've gone to church with for a really long time. They know a lot about your family, lifelong friends. I have had very much removed family members approved, but we do have to get special approval on that because we have to make sure that family member is in no way an interested party to the heirship. But we prefer to have someone that is friends with them, someone who's known them for a really long time, that can say, yes, I know that Jane Doe had, a prior marriage. She had 4 children in that prior marriage, and she has a current marriage with 2 children. That way we can kind of look at that and say, okay, now we know where we're going with heirship and who's gaining.
Okay. So from a title perspective, what steps do you take to get the heirship established?
So it's a 2-step process, like I mentioned before. So what we're going to do is send out what's called the information gathering forms first. The information gathering form is going to go out to the 2 disinterested parties and then the interested party. Interested party could be anyone. It could be the seller on the transaction, the husband or children, someone like that. What we're going to do is have them fill out all the information on the gathering forms that says these are prior marriages, when do you think they got married, any prior children, do you know their prior addresses, anything like that that we can use to establish anyone that may be an heir. Once we've reviewed those information gathering forms, they go through our attorneys and our underwriters and they look at them and they say, okay, this is great, here's your affidavits. So now we have our actual statements that need to be signed and notarized. And this is just going to be the statement that attests to the facts that were in the gathering forms. Once we have those affidavit of heirships, we can actually record them with the county to make them official. We also send them to our exam team so they can update vesting on title. That means that we are going to update who can sign on behalf of the property and who can sell, who is going to make the money from the proceeds. So it's fun.
Okay, so I'm sorry guys, I'm a little confused with this. Okay, so somebody passes without a will.
Mm-hmm.
You have to establish who the heirs are.
Mm-hmm. So who can sell the property?
You can sell the property. Then you find out from the uninterested party, or you find out from them how many previous marriages, how many children total, and then you send all this paperwork to your underwriters and attorneys, and they look at it and they establish, okay, these 1 children, 2 children, whatever it is, this is who the heirs are, and this is who is entitled to sell the property.
Correct.
Okay.
Fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's quite the process.
Yes.
I am actually about to go through it personally for myself and my family, actually. So I get it. I know how hard it can be, how hard it is to have to fill that information out and find people that know that information. It's not an easy task. But it's something that has to be done. The state of Texas requires it. I think you as the seller would want to make sure that nobody can come back at you later and say that you did something wrong. So
after you've established the heirs,
yes.
after you've gotten all the paperwork, it's gone to the attorneys, it's gone to the underwriters, it's gone to whoever it needs to go to, what should we expect?
So at that point, then we're going to get our title commitment back, and it's going to show exactly who is to sign for it. So then we can close. So let's say that we have a husband and he has lost his wife. They bought a home in 2012. In 2015, she has passed away, and he needs to sell the home. So now we're going to go through that whole affidavit of heirship process that we just talked about. And we're going to find that, okay, she had no prior marriages. They have 2 children from their own marriage that lived at that home. The husband is going to stand to be the heir. Then that husband, we've established, can sell. Where it can get muddy is if we have, same scenario, Jane Doe and John Doe buy in 2012. Jane passes away in 2012, but she has a prior marriage. And she has a prior marriage, and the child of that prior marriage lives in the home with her current husband and her current 2 children from that husband. Now we have a little bit of a different situation for heirship, because now we have several heirs. We have the husband, who still is a 50% owner of the property, but then we also have children that are now heirs as well. And then that's going to be a whole other process where you have to go through the courts, because now you have a guardianship issue to establish, because you can't sell until you have that in place. So there can be things that come up and muddle the situation more, or it could be clear as day and we just get it done. But it is quite the process, and we always say, as an agent, if you know that you're going to be selling a home that has estate issues, or you know that this person has passed recently, we completely suggest opening a to be determined order. I don't usually suggest that, but this is considered a title issue. And a title issue that can take a while to clear up. And we want to make sure that you have it cleared up before you get a contract on it. So that is also something to think about. A good way to utilize your title company, or me at Texas National Title, to run your title and get your affidavit of heirships done for you.
Right.
So, but yeah, it can be a tricky process.
So as a realtor, if I'm listing a property or selling a property, and I know that this is happening, I should definitely bring that up to
the title, the title officer for sure, or the closer, whatever you want to call us.
Okay, then.
I'm just kidding.
So, is there anything else important to know about that?
Just that it's either a really easy process or it's a really tricky process. It really goes one way or the other. Either you have lifelong friends, or your parents had lifelong friends, or if your family member had lifelong friends that can answer all of these questions, or it gets trickier. We have to get a little bit more creative to find someone that can answer and attest to those things. But it's not an easy process, but it's something that has to be done, and at least we do have another option if a will isn't probated, because there are things that happen unexpectedly and suddenly that no one can help.
Okay. Well, if you have any heirship questions or affidavit of heirship questions that you want to ask Leah, just feel free to comment on this video, or send us a personal message, or call me and I can get you Leah's information for that. And again, I'm Tina Peterson with RE/MAX 1. This is Leah Taggart with Texas National Title. And we hope you guys have a great weekend and a happy Father's Day, and we will see you guys next week.
Happy Father's Day!